Myself Ifrath, I'm the assistant professor of the Department of Commerce at Theivanai Ammal College, and today I'm going to discuss about the small things about consumer behavior, that is on the consumer decision making and the organization by law. So, firstly, what do you mean by this? The consumer decision making. Consumer simply means the persons who are consuming a product or a services. So, the consumer decision making, which means the process through which an individual or a group identify their needs and collecting the information and evaluating the alternatives and taking the purchasing decision. And after that, they are responding or the post-purchase decision whether they are satisfied with that product or services like that. That is simply mean the consumer decision making process. So it is also include the action taken after the purchases such as the product usage and the post-purchase evaluation, which means that after purchasing a product or a services, the consumers will be evaluate the quality and the performance of the each product. And this process is influenced by the various factors which like the internal factors as well as the external factors. And the internal factors which include the motivation and the perceptions of that consumers and their attitude towards that product or the services and their personality towards the product or their like a personality totally everything will be influencing the consumer's decision making. And the external factors which like the culture the which that the person that included into that culture and the family background and the social classes which in which social class they are belonging and the marketing offers, these all are the factors that were influencing the consumers to making their purchasing decisions. And understanding this process will help the business to create strategies that align with the consumers' expectations and guide them effectively from the awareness to purchase and beyond, which simply means that the consumer decision making will also helps the marketers to identify what a consumer is truly wants. So based on that, the customers or the marketers can be make some of the strategies that is truly attracting the consumers. And the next topic is that the importance of the consumer decision making in marketing. So first is that helps to understand the consumer's need. So which means that by conducting a market research, the marketers can identify what is the true needs or what is the needs and wants of the consumers. So based on that, they can make some of the strategies to attract that customers. And second is the guide the product development. So for which means that the you by conducting the market research, the marketers can get the suggestions or the preference of the customers. So based on the preference of the customers, they can produce a produce or develop one of the product or make some changes in the services they are already providing. So it helps or it acts as a guide for their advanced services or advancement in the product. And the third is that improves the target marketing, which simply means that which means by conducting this research or by identifying the consumers purchasing decisions, it will helps the marketers to identify who are their target marketing, who are their target customers. So based on that target customers, the marketers can use the strategies to particularly attract or particularly focusing on such types of the customers. And the third is a fourth one is the boost the customer satisfaction, which simply means that while a marketer is providing something beyond the expectations of that consumers, which means that the consumers are become delighted. So over their expectations, the consumer will be delighted by getting more services. So and next is enhance the competitive advantage, which means by conducting this research or by knowing about the consumers' decision makings, the marketers can be know about the strategies of their competitors. So based on the strategies of their competitors, the marketers can be use it as an advantage to create their own strategies in better way than the competitors. And next is the supports the pricing and positioning. So pricing and positioning simply means that it is one of the marketing mix or the marketing strategies coming under the strategy. Positioning means it is the value that is created in the consumer's minds, and the pricing means it is the value of that product. So by knowing about the consumer decision making or the purchasing decisions, it helps the marketers to implement strategies that is truly attracting to that customer. For example, the Starbucks consumers itself consider that as a premium product. So based on that, The marketers or the companies can be use it as use based on that need. The company can be use a pricing strategy or the positioning strategy about the customers perceptions. And the last one is that informs the promotional strategies, which means that by knowing about the consumers purchasing decisions, they can implement more of the strategies like after sale services or other warranty. Any other services can be provided to the customers based on the decision makings. And next is a topic is about the types of consumer decision making, which means that the consumer decision are not always same. It vary depend upon the occasion and depend upon other factors. So the main four types of the like types of the consumer decision making are the first is about the routine or the habitual decision making, which simply means that it will be happen when the consumers buy a product regularly with a little thoughts or the effort, simply which is the habitual, which is a part of their daily lives. Okay, for example, when a consumer is purchasing a toothpaste or any washing powder or soap, something like that. So, which means they are habitually or they are routinely purchase such types of the products. So they no need to make that much of effort to purchase that particular product. That is why it is become the routine decision making process. So it's usually a low cost items and they don't need not often using that. So that is the routine habitual or the habitual decision making. And second one is the limited decision makings. The limited decision making, which simply means that it occurs when the customer are somewhat familiar with the product but want to compare a few options before buying. The examples could be choosing a new pair of the shoes or a mobile phone, which means it is not like the routine purchasing decisions, but there is they have to keep some of the efforts to purchase that product because this is occasional buyings, or it is they are only purchasing that type of the product or service when they truly want that. For example, we purchase a new pair of the shoes when we want a new one, or we purchase the mobile phone when we want that, like that. That is called a limited decision making process. And next is that extensive or the complex decision making, which means it is the higher level of the second or the previous one. And the extensive decision making involves a high level of involvement because the purchase is important, expensive, or infrequent. Because, for example, a consumer is purchasing like an expensive product, like, so for example a house or a car, something like that. So they have to conduct a detailed study or a conduct a research about that product, their price, quality, quantity, services, everything. They have to conduct a study before making the decision itself. That is why it is called as the extensive complex decision making process. And the fourth one is about the impulsive buying or the spontaneous decision making. Actually, these types of the purchasing decision will be maybe like the small kids are going to a shop or something like that. They will purchase the candies or ice creams. So this is part of the impulsive buying behavior, and it is a spontaneous and the unplanned purchase made on the spot, often driven by the emotions or the attractive products displays. So the consumers make this decision quickly without the prior planning or the research. For example, the grabbing the candy bar or magazines while waiting in a line at the stores, for example, which means that it is the purchasing decision is based upon the impulsive. Not the customers are not planned to purchase this product, but like at the prior occasion or at that occasion, the consumers are getting attracted and they are making the purchasing decision. That type of is called as the impulsive buying. And next is the stages in the consumer decision, which means the process through which the consumers must go through while they are making the purchasing decision. The first one is the problem definition. Firstly, they will identify that they have some of the need or they have to satisfy some of the need or want. So based on that, they will make the identify the need. So for example, if one's mobile phone have a low battery, they will identify that they have to purchase one new mobile phone which have a good battery life. That is the problem definition. And second one is the information search. Information search, which simply means that after identifying their problems, the consumer will be go for the informations. From where did they get a new mobile phone, or from where or how much cost is for that phone. It is after the recognizing the needs and consumers seeking the information about the available product. And third one is the evaluation of the alternatives. So evaluation of the alternatives. So after identifying that consumers need, they will search for the information, which means that there are different types of the smartphones is available in the market, like this Samsung Galaxy, their iPhone is there, OnePlus is different phone is there. So they are not now they are know about the different informations or different types of the alternative. And third is the evaluation of alternative. After identify the each alternative, they will conduct a comparative studies, or they will be detailed study about the each alternative, which product, which smartphone have the good quality, or the which smartphone have the good battery life, good memory, like everything they will be conduct a detailed study. And the fourth is about the purchase decisions. So which means the consumer select the best alternative and decide where and how to buy. Okay, for example, if the consumer is making a decision to purchase one of the Samsung Galaxy phone, so they are choosing one product and they will be search for from where did they have to purchase the product, in the online or the offline shop. Like likewise, they will be conduct the studies, and there are different factors like the price, store reputation, sales, promotion will be affecting the consumers. And the last one is the post-purchase behavior, which means after the all stages, customers will be go through the stage, which means after they are starting evaluating, or they are start whether they are satisfied or not satisfied about this product will be identified in the last stages. So the satisfaction leads to repeat the purchase and loyalties, and the dissatisfaction may result in the complaints, return, or the negative word of the mouth. So these five are the stages or the process of the decision making process. And the next topic is about the organization buying behavior. So, which means that the consumer purchasing decision making, which means it is the purchasing of a single persons or two or three person for their personal consumption. But the organization buying buyer means, or the organization buying behavior, which means that one organization or an entity is purchasing something to satisfy their operation or to meet their goal or achievement. Like that is called the organization buyer. So it refers to individual or the entities within a company, and they are responsible for purchasing the goods or services or the resources that is required to support the company's operations, the product or the strategic goals. So that type of this purchasing decision is called the organization buying behavior, and they are completely distant from the consumer, which means the individual consumer decision maker, because they are purchasing something to satisfy, or more than that, they are purchasing to meet their organization operation goal, something like that. But the individual consumer is purchasing to satisfy their needs, or for their personal consumption, but the organization is for the organization needs. And it will be always be long term goals and rather than the personal preferences. And some of the features or the specialities of the organization buying behavior, one is that it is a goal oriented buying, which means that the organization will be purchase a product or a services to meeting their target operation or their long term goals. So based on that only the consumer will be, or the organization will be buying a product or service. And the second is the large scale purchase, which means that to achieving the long-term goal, they will be purchase a large quantity or large bulk product or services to satisfy it. And third is the complex decision making, which means it is not a individual purchasing decision, it is an organization buying behavior. Because of that itself, they have to meet some of the operation, which means, for example, the one of the IT companies is purchasing like softwares, laptop system, everything, which means that they have to consider different factors like the price, quality, quantity, after sales services, technology advancement, everything they have to be considered. Because of that itself, it is a complex decision making process. And next is a formalized procedures. It's not, which means the organization buying behavior is not like a individual purchasing decision, because they have to go through the different stages, or the to attaining a purchasing they have to go through different procurement process, like they maybe it's tenders, research proposal, quotation, everything. There is a process coming under the organization buyer. So a formalized structure will be coming under the organization buyer. And next is multiple influencers and roles. which means that for individual consumers they are influenced by price, brand, something like that. But in case of the organization buyer, they are influenced by different factors like the after sales services, quality, then the technological advancement. Everything is considering as the factors or for influencing their purchasing decisions. And next, the volume discounts. Volume discounts simply means that organization buying behavior is always be a bulk purchase. So while they are making a bulk purchases, they will get the discounts. And next is the post-purchase considerations. In the organization buying behavior, they are expecting some of the services from their suppliers like after-sale services, warranties, technological advancement. Something services are expected by the organization from the suppliers. And the last is the professional buyers. So the professional buyers, which means that they are purchasing something to satisfy the organization needs. So different factors or the different people like the finance manager, top level managers, the technological advancement, everything may be include in the purchasing decision that itself. So it's not a single purchasing or the individual purchasing decisions. It is their decisions or the planning is made by the organization to acquire some things. And next is a small comparison about the organization buying as well as the consumer buying behavior. So firstly, in case of the buyer type, the organization buying is a business or an institution or a government. But in case of the consumer buying that, the purchase will be done by the individual or the household. And the purpose of the purchase in the organization that is to achieve their production or to conduct their resales or your operations. But in case of the consumer buying behavior, it is for the personal consumptions. And in the decision making under the organization behavior, it is coming under the formal structure, and different people and the multiple department may be included in that decision making. But in the consumer, it is usually made by that individual. Maybe their family may be influenced or may be involved in the decision making process. And the volume of the purchase in the organization is always a large quantities or the bulk buying behavior. And in case of this individual consumer or the consumer behavior, it is a small quantities. And the buying criteria is coming under the organization is it is based on the after sales services, cost of that product, quality, technological advancement, something like. And in case of the consumer buying behavior, it is based on the emotions, the brand, and the personal preference of the each consumers. And the last is the buying process. I told that organization buying behavior is a formal or a structured process. There are different structure stages they have to be go through to purchase one product. And in case of the consumer buying behavior, it is an informal, maybe impulsive or acute decision taken by the consumer. For example, when a hospital is purchasing some of the MRI machines, then different bed different sectors that is coming under the organization buying behavior. For example, consumers they are purchasing the toothpaste, water bottle, book, something that means their personal uses. And in the organization, we can say a school or a university is purchasing the book, desk, bench, blackboard, cleaning items, everything. This is coming under the organization buying behavior, which is used for the whole organization, not a single person's. Okay. So thank you. And now we discuss about what is the consumer decision making and their importance in the marketing, and the different stages and the types of the decision making. And the next type of the purchasing decision is the organization by purchasing decision and their features, and what is the major difference between the organization buying behavior and the consumer decision making. Hope you that everyone this topic is clear for you all.